Good afternoon and good morning, everybody, and welcome back to the Blind Press YouTube channel and CoffeeStream number 273. And it is Wednesday, which means it is Wednesdays with Skep, and Skep will be joining us soon. I think he's just getting set up, and everything will be fun. We're going to have a great stream. We've got lots of stories to talk about. Got tons of news and just lots of things to laugh about and talk about today. So while we're waiting for Mr. Skep to join us, I would like to warn you guys that I have taken some DayQuil, and yeah, I'm roboting again, I know. StreamYard's it's a combination of StreamYard and Pinkhollow thinks our modem is Pinkhollow thinks our modem is way out. So basically I took some DayQuil today because my cough is still here. And apparently, DayQuil still gives you all the loopy side effects of NyQuil because I'm feeling all spinny and I'm not drowsy or anything, but I'm very spinny and very loopy. So this is going to be an interesting stream. So let's say hi to chat while we wait for Skep Talk. I am high. I am very high. Like I said, she's going to trip balls. Yep. Drugged BP. Yep. Hello, Sir Adamantine. Hello, Dax Orion. Hello, Duck Dog. Hello, Fury Kitten. DXM is great. Yeah, that's not wrong. Grandpa Skep.
Hey.
Hello, Grandpa Skep.
How you doing? Sorry, I was on the phone with my daughter and finding out what was up.
Yeah, how's she doing?
She's doing fine. She's had a couple of high blood pressure readings. So nothing very significant, but the doctor, in an abundance of caution, and because Friday is her due date, said that if she came in and was hypertensive, had high blood pressure reading today, they were going to induce.
Okay.
And she took her blood pressure this morning and it was normal. So
good.
That seems to indicate that we'll be waiting another, however, babies come when they're ready.
Inductions can be rough, so I hope that she doesn't have to go through that.
That's the other thing is the doctor said that she wants to try for a natural childbirth.
Okay.
And without an epidural. And she said if it gets too insane, she's good to go with it. But
yeah,
she wants to at least try it out that way. And you have a better shot at that if you don't induce.
Yes.
So that's what everybody says. So I'm just a guy, okay?
I'm feeling DayQuil isn't supposed to make you loopy, but I'm loopy.
Yeah, you sound high.
I waited until 11:30 because I'm like, if I take the medicine right before the show, it won't kick in.
Yeah.
So I was like, I'll take it about half an hour before the show. So by the time it kicks in, it'll be noon, and I'll stop coughing.
Yeah.
And I'll be fine. And about 15 minutes after I took it, I'm sitting in the kitchen and I'm like, I feel like I took NyQuil, but I know I didn't because I used there's an app for the blind, actually by Microsoft, called Seeing AI.
Yeah.
And it uses your phone camera. And it has different, they call them channels for recognizing different things. And
Yes.
one of them is short text.
Yes.
So I used that because I have both bottles, DayQuil and NyQuil, and I used it. So I knew I was taking DayQuil.
You can also tell from the taste, unless you're taking tablets.
It did taste different. It did taste a little more fruity.
Well,
the DayQuil stuff did taste a bit more fruity.
DayQuil does not have the ethanol alcohol. It has a different alcohol in it, and it's an alcohol that doesn't make you drowsy. It's actually a kind of glycerol, and it's good for your throat and all that stuff. So, at any rate, yeah.
Gunfox says she took NyQuil. Gunfox is saying I took NyQuil. He thinks I took NyQuil.
It's entirely possible. NyQuil doesn't really affect me differently from DayQuil. I can't tell one from the other. They both help me when I've got a cold, but I don't get the drowsy feeling from NyQuil, so it doesn't help me at night. It's just like, whatever. I probably am not taking enough. I'm probably taking enough to get the antihistamine and decongestant effect, and that's all. So but that's a good thing.
I took a full shot.
I don't want to be taking a bunch of alcohol. That's not.
No, I can see why you would.
It's not a good thing for me.
Yeah.
So anyway, interesting times. It's funny when you have something important like a grandchild about to be born. You essentially shut out the rest of the world.
Yeah.
And so this morning, I saw your message to me in DMs about Wexit. And I went, Wexit, they can't still be talking about that. Because I thought that would be like a fad where everybody thought, ha ha ha, Alberta's going to leave and, never going to happen. Fantasy Island.
Yeah.
And
it's
good, sensible people, sensible Canadians would take over and they'd forget about it. That hasn't happened. Evidently.
No.
The crazies have taken over the asylum. And
they have.
And they, the thing of it is that, Texas could have done that in the early 20th century. Well, in about the early to mid 20th century, could have said to the rest of the country, we're producing 40% of all the oil produced in the world.
Yeah.
Just so you know. Okay. And we're seceding. Have a great day. Okay. Yeah. And they would have been great, rich, powerful for about 50 years.
Yep.
And then it would grind to a halt because Texas would, if it sustained its growth the way that it has, it could not produce enough food to feed itself. I don't know if you know this, but California is the breadbasket of not just the United States. California is the breadbasket of the Western Hemisphere.
Right.
People think we sure get a lot of produce from Chile. What we get are out of season fruits and some vegetables from Chile. And that seems like a big deal. In terms of volume, what we ship out of California to the rest of the world is not even funny. The balance of trade that California has, the positive balance of exports that California has is beyond, it's just staggering. It's billions and billions and billions and billions of dollars of produce. So certain areas, what I'm getting to is that certain areas of the country produce a lot of important stuff.
Yeah.
Other areas produce other services or provide other services or do other stuff that may not be directly translatable into money the way that extractive or agricultural industries are.
Yeah.
But they end up because they're service industries or because they're manufacturing or they do something that's in the mid part of an industrial process, they're valuable also, and their value would be immediately noticed if they weren't there.
Yes.
People think, well, the United States wouldn't miss Indiana. Oh, hell
Oh,
yes,
that's
we
not
would.
true.
Illinois, Indiana, those big, those are the places where manufacturing is still king. They also
Yeah.
do a lot of agriculture. They're kind of a mixed economy, but virtually every state has something. And Canada's very much that way, with the exception of the ice-producing territories, shall we say,
Yeah.
the northern territories, which you have some natural gas up there, I guess, and that's about the end of it. But Canada is actually fairly even with, except really for the oil imbalance. And no doubt about it, Alberta produces a lot of your oil, but that's not something that's going to be permanent. And secessions have a tendency to be permanent. They're so stupid to even be talking about that. It blows me away.
Well, and it's like I've got this article over here about they're actually Alberta's separatist party or a group is actually applying to become a fucking federal party.
I know.
Like
I saw that. I just went, what?
So
really?
It's like we've got freaking. So what's bothering me about this is there's so many. Like every time I keep trying to talk to, because there's a few people that we know that I've been trying to talk to about, like some Canadians that we stream with and everything, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I keep hearing, Alberta's been shafted for decades, and the West has been mistreated, and our economy is being mismanaged by the federal government. And I just keep going, okay, find me a place in Canada that hasn't happened.
Yeah, exactly.
Should we all leave? Should we all become 10 tiny countries?
Well, the Treaty 8 First Nations chiefs issued a joint statement on Tuesday calling for cooler heads to prevail amid indications the desire to separate from Canada is growing among people in Alberta and Saskatchewan.
Yeah.
They said, as chiefs, with our united voices and on behalf of our 22 member nations, with clear conscience, declare we are strongly opposed to the idea of separation from Canada, the chief said in a news release. Now, do you think does that mean anything? Does that mean anything?
Okay, but like seriously, when the natives,
yes,
okay, the people who have actually been fucked,
yes, right,
by the government,
want to stay.
Stay, okay, when they are telling you guys, calm the fuck down. You're not going anywhere. We don't support this. This is stop. Because that's one of the big problems is with Wexit supporters is they try and they say, oh, well, look at what they've done to the natives in Alberta. Like they try and use the natives, right? Yeah, as prop ups.
The chiefs are saying that the separation of Alberta and Saskatchewan would impose an international border through the heart of their Treaty 8 territory.
Yeah.
Which is
that's
a bad thing for those guys.
Yeah, like the natives basically are being used by Wexit supporters as
pawns is the word you're looking for.
Because they're saying, look at what we've gone through, and look, the natives who live here have been screwed by the government. Therefore, we have been screwed by the government. So the natives, the chiefs, by making this statement, are not only saying we don't support Wexit, but they're basically saying, stop fucking using us in your fucking politics.
Now,
just
an interesting thing to this American, and forgive me if I'm just being quaint and stupid. frequently that way. And that is that, does the Queen have any say about this? Because I'm reading, legally and in all cases, the Crown is obligated to honor and respect our treaty, meaning the Treaty 8 treaty, the Natives Treaty, and inherent rights as recognized and affirmed by the Constitution Act and the United Nations Declaration on the Rights of Indigenous People. So it seems
Pinkolo just said she doesn't, the Governor General might.
So so that's devolved to the Viceroy or the Governor General, whatever they call him. And so he seems to be obligated to honor and respect the Treaty 8 treaty and their indigenous rights. And if the chiefs are saying no, what I'm trying to get to in my ponderous, stupid way is that, isn't this effectively a veto? All the Treaty 8 chiefs got together and said, we're against this. Shut the fuck up and stop using our name.
Because nobody in their right mind is gonna be smart enough to take land away from natives again.
Yes.
Even if it's treaty given, like, land that
treaty
was
grants, yeah, right.
Treaty grants, and nobody's gonna take land from the natives anymore.
Okay, so they're frustrated in Alberta because they can't move forward on stuff like the Trans Mountain Pipeline expansion.
Yes.
And or the Energy East, and there are various bills that people that are being proposed or have been passed that people view as being bad for Canada's energy companies. And but couldn't it actually act to hinder Alberta's ability to bring its oil to like the tidewater areas and to global markets? I mean, having that international border, Canada could just say, fine, fuck you, we're going to put a tariff on your oil.
Well, and
I asked, if they got a better deal, what I'm saying.
Yeah. Well, and the other thing is currency. If Alberta,
actually, that's
if Alberta and Saskatchewan separates, what do they plan on using for currency? And I've done some looking.
Yeah.
And their plan is fucking Chinese-backed blockchain, fucking gold-backed cryptocurrency bullshit.
That would last for about a month.
Yep.
Okay, well, let me tell you why that will collapse. The speculators will bring that to a grinding halt because there's not enough of it. Okay, I know something about monetary policy. I've been a stockbroker. I have a master's degree in this stuff. that will vanish. Like cold water on a hot skillet.
Yeah.
It will explode into nothingness, almost immediately. And what will happen is they will probably devolve back to using the loonie, or they'll use the American dollar.
Yeah.
And even if they have their own script, the de facto will probably be the American dollar.
Yeah, because do you really think
the American dollar doesn't really float? It does. There's a technical. There's a technical valuation that's done, but in point of fact, everything floats in relation to the dollar.
Yeah.
Not vice versa. So.
It's so frustrating to see this going on, because it's like anybody with a modicum of rationality
knows this is a ridiculous idea.
Yeah. And when you
international border through the heart of Canada, because we can.
when anyone tries to calmly, talk about it, it's just, oh, well, you back in Ontario and Quebec, you guys just, are all about supplanting the West and you don't care. And when we say, what do you mean you?
Yeah, who's
like
you?
Ontarians do not hate Alberta. Oh, well, we mean the government. Well, why don't you just say that?
Yeah.
The government and you guys are the same syllables and the same amount of words.
Yeah, I have heard enough Canadians that refer to Ontario. They when they say Ontario, they mean the government.
They do, but it's so frustrating.
Yeah, I know it's frustrating to an actual Ontarian because I'm a human. You're a human being, and you.
Yeah. And it's like, do you think Ontarians don't get fucked by that government too?
He's your clown prime minister too.
Like, seriously, and when you look at places like Newfoundland, who's been absolutely screwed by the federal governments for decades. Oh, here Portugal, here China. Sure, you can come fish over here, right within our fishing waters. Yep. That's fine.
Yep.
Like, no problem. But do you hear Newfoundland saying we want to be our own island? No. They're proud to be Canadians.
Do you know? And this is again my Americanness and my lack of Canadian sophistication. But all I can see is like Bob and Doug getting drunk. We should be our own country, eh?
Barring of fisheries. The barring from fisheries for newfies.
That's right. They were allowing people from other countries to fish, but not Newfoundlanders to fish.
Oh, beauty.
Which was their only way of employment. Right? So it's like...
Because that made sense.
So it's...
it's so wrong-headed and so silly. If this is a cry for help from Alberta, they need to prepare like a list of grievances and take it to the government. Say, look, damn it. Here's some stuff that we want that we think we ought to get. If it's a thing where we've got all the oil, so we think we should get special treatment, that's like, fuck off.
Yeah.
So your DM page is open.
Oh, shit.
Okay. Sorry, I don't want to interrupt Pink Owl.
No, he just said my DM page was open.
Okay. So.
It's all good.
Oh! Your DM page was
open.
I was looking on an article page. I wasn't looking at the. So anyway,
wouldn't Newfoundland become an overseas territory?
One more thing, if I can interrupt.
What?
I apologize.
What's up?
When you look at the energy sectors, they think oil is going to be over here. We have a gigantic energy sector of refineries, natural gas systems. We have everything up north as well. But we have the natural resources. We have all the minerals.
Yeah, that's true.
I didn't hear what you said. What they said?
The energy sector, a lot of people are saying that oil is basically going to support everything, and they want to cut off the rest of Canada, right? To show them what they're missing. Ontario
because that'll be easy.
But Ontario has its own refineries and natural gas and energy stuff. Like, where do you think the eastern seaboard of the U.S. gets most of its electricity from?
From tides.
From Ontario.
Yeah.
We sell our electricity
to Niagara Electric, exactly. It's the Niagara Electric is who you sell it to, and I know exactly how that works. Yeah,
and Albertans are pissed off that their oil is being sold. What do you mean no? He keeps saying no.
No, there's a huge deal in the Northeast, or there used to be a huge deal. This was 30 years ago, Canada providing a lot of electricity to the northeastern United States. There was a utility called Niagara Electric that both produced its own electricity for parts of New York and Pennsylvania, Ohio, some other places. But they bought a lot of their electricity from Canada. And I think they still do. I think Niagara's still around.
Well,
Niagara
and the
Power.
thing is, the thing is that Albertans get mad that oil is being sold to America and all these things for pennies on the dollar. How much money do you think Ontario is selling their electricity for? Huge amounts of money? Fuck no.
Yeah.
We're selling it for pennies on the dollar. We could be like, you know what I mean? Like everybody is being screwed. Like if you were to leave on that basis, and here's the other thing. Where's your originality? Wexit? Really? Wexit? You're just gonna take Brexit and put a W on the end on it instead?
I know. It's just silly. So anyway, all right. Well, we've established it's a silly idea. They're crazy.
So,
I think it will peter out. I think eventually. I think it may be, as much as anything, seriously, just kind of a stalking horse for demands of existing political parties. I don't think this political party is going to go anywhere because it's a one trick pony. It's a one issue party. It's and you saw what happened to UKIP in Britain.
So, you want to hear about something messed up going on in China?
Other than Hong Kong, sure.
So, there's like this tribe of people, and I'm not sure how to pronounce
the Uyghurs. They're called Uyghurs.
Really?
Uyghurs is how my anthropology professor used to pronounce it.
Uyghur. Huh.
Yep.
Interesting.
He was Chinese. He was from Hong Kong.
Okay, so these people are having Chinese men, like so these people whose husbands and whatever are in internment camps and all that,
mm-hmm.
Their wives are being visited by male Han Chinese people, and the wives are being forced to sleep with these men, and they're being indoctrinated into the Chinese way of life.
Oh, this is because the Uyghurs aren't they? Don't they have some like Islamic or Hindu roots or something like that? And,
yes.
And they, the Chinese have been trying to absorb them for a long time. It hasn't been working. So basically, what they did, if memory serves, is they locked up. I thought they locked up everybody, but maybe in refugee camps, maybe they just locked up the men.
It's what it seems to be. They just lock up the men, and then they bring in these Han Chinese,
which basically just means Western Chinese, Southwestern Chinese,
to sleep with the wives and quote unquote teach the children about what it's like to be really Chinese.
How fun!
So this says this article.
You got that article? Oh, there.
Sorry.
I see it. I just discovered the article. It's on the screen. I was looking around. I was looking around for it. Okay.
Oh, it's shared.
I see it. I got you.
So it says, since late 2017, Muslim and particularly Uyghur families have all been required to invite, I love that word, invite officials into their home and provide them with information about their lives and political views, while hosting. While hosting, they're also subject to political indoctrination. Pair Up and Become Families program. I love that. Yeah. Pair up and become family.
Pair up and become family. Can't you? You know, this is the other side. This is the exit to the tunnel into which AOC is inviting us.
Yep.
She says, come on in. The government's going to help you live better. The government will shave down your behavioral choices and your possible beliefs into a wholesome set of things that the government has approved, and you can pair up and become family.
Yeah.
That's right. The men weren't working out, so we put the men in what we call happiness camps of re-education to separate them from their families. And now the women are being invited to pair up and become family
Yes.
with other new men because we're the government and we can. This is beyond belief.
Terrifying.
Yeah, it is. It's not just terrifying, it's horrifying. It fills me with horror that government has become not just this intrusive. This is the government oppressing.
This is blatant.
People. Yeah, this
is like, hey, hi, we want you to be like us, and we don't care how it looks. You're gonna be like us no matter what.
Yeah, exactly.
Like,
this is not too terribly different from, hey, we've decided that you are going to be raised for meat. And so we'll euthanize you. It'll be very nice. It'll be kind of a party the day you have your euthanization, and you become tasty roasts and chops for the rest of China. This is not more evil than that. This is equivalently evil. This is taking people's agency, their free will, their inalienable rights, and throwing them in the trash can.
Well, and can you imagine those poor little kids who first of all has to be like, okay, where's my daddy?
I'm your new dad.
And second of all, who the fuck are you? And why is mommy crying all the time now?
Right. Exactly.
Exactly. Oh my God.
You don't think any of those men are abusing the children, do you?
Oh no, not at all.
That would never happen because they wouldn't.
They love those kids.
They love those.
They would never.
I'll bet they do love those kids. God, that is just sick and wrong. This is China. This is where communism leads. This is where totalitarianism leads.
Yeah.
Why I'm a libertarian, reason number 5,621.
And I love how they call them relatives.
Yeah. That's newspeak. That's using language to make lies be truth.
Yeah, Grillin' Pirate Pete says the lefties are horrified by the world of The Handmaid's Tale, but not a peep about this real world nightmare. Nope.
It's really for their own good. AOC would say.
Yes.
And she would say, those aren't the kind of women who should have agency. They should be doing what their government wants them to do. The helpful, healthful, good government that only has their best interest at heart. It's just helping them be better. What could be wrong with that?
I'm
sure AOC looks at that and says, that's a model for America. We should do that here. We could detoxify men if we get the right men in and get these Antifa cucks with oversized head and skinny arms into
this is.
I am speechless.
So did you hear?
It's infuriating. Jesus Christ.
Did you hear that we've got a bunch of scientists who signed an open letter about the climate crisis?
Well, they do that periodically. Is that a Canadian thing or is that a?
I think this is an international thing.
All right.
This article here says clear and unequivocal. Thousands of scientists sign letter on climate crisis. So and it says an open letter signed by thousands of scientists from around the world may be the clearest demonstration yet that there's an unanimous agreement of the globe's emerging climate crisis.
Published Tuesday in the journal Bioscience, the letter includes 11,258 signatures from 153 countries, including 409 from Canada. We declare, ellipsis, clearly and unequivocally that planet Earth is facing a climate emergency, the letter's opening statement says. Is another example of a growing willingness by scientists to leave their labs in an attempt to persuade the public to take seriously what research is telling them. Academic researchers have been more involved in visible activism, going to rallies, protesting peacefully, says Lonnie Asshole, signatory. I think it's some kind of Swedish name.
Yes.
Signatory and longtime biologist at Queen's University in Kingston. That's definitely ramped up, especially in the last year. Scientists at the beginning of their careers feel the same way, says Alina Asshole, a signatory, Fisher maybe, I don't know. Anyway, a signatory and University of Victoria PhD student, pulling her head out of her ass for a moment to comment. People do understand climate change, but they don't see how it affects them. It's important for us scientists to bridge that gap. Oh, us scientists, fuck off.
Yes, because you and your high echelons of science only
Right.
know.
Exactly. Talk down to, us poor folk. The letter is frank about the consequences. The climate crisis is closely linked to excessive consumption of the wealthy lifestyle. We must change how we live. Okay. You must stop eating meat. You must stop using cars. You must stop using airplanes. You must stop using medicine. Stop, stop, stop. Energy sources must move beyond carbon. Carbon must be banned. Diets must include less meat. Scientists propose periodic table without the element carbon on it. Excessive extraction of materials and overexploitation of ecosystems driven by economic growth must be quickly curtailed. All antibiotics must eliminate carbon from their formulas. We must protect and restore the Earth's ecosystem.
Which means you must eliminate humans because they are carbon-based.
All carbon must be eliminated from humans. Humans have to evolve to a silicon-based lifestyle. Since it's in the same column in the periodic table, it ought to be just fine. The letter includes 29 simple graphs illustrating everything from atmospheric concentration of greenhouse gases to livestock numbers to extreme weather events and wildfire losses. All back the letter's urgings. Imagine my shock. Bill Asshole, an ecologist at Oregon State University who organized the letter through the Alliance of World Scientists, makes no apologies for its uncompromising tone. We know we're assholes and we're willing to take the risk to speak out and talk about the implications of the science that we're seeing here and how that could potentially affect the assholes of the earth. She said, I think we have this obligation as assholes. Well, I think it's a major trend. It's tough to move away from all the old data of a scientist as a neutral and silent provider of data, says Samantha Asshole, who's doing her doctorate in marine assholeology at Memorial University in Newfoundland. Scientists increasingly feel that they don't have to shut up about what their work means. In fact, they're never going to shut up again. They're going to talk until your head explodes. Science in the ivory tower makes no difference, she said, and if you're dealing with things that are important, then we should be speaking out and we shouldn't be afraid to be assholes. I don't know how you could be neutral about something like this, said the asshole scientist. She points out that most scientists is publicly funded and people have every right to know what their money has uncovered, but they don't have a right to have their own opinions. Dozens of Canadian scientists have already affixed their names to at least 6 open letters related to climate change since 2015, and not one of them has done a goddamn thing. They have called for a moratorium on new oil sands mines, changes to the Fishery Act, and end to liquid natural gas development, and for assholes to consider the issue on election day. Get used to it, says Igor Asshole, a PhD student in freshwater ecology at McGill University in Montreal. I'll bet that's a fun place. Scientists would, under normal circumstances, expect that politicians or government employees consult them if the need arises, he said in an email. The asshole went on. It is clear that this is not happening and that an intervention is needed. We need to stop people from having fun. It's got to stop right now. It's vital to speak out about the ecosystem emergency that is happening around the world, he said, tears breaking from his eyes. What fuckery is this? What
Tears?
absolute fuckery.
Ugh.
Assholes.
This is crazy. Like, why? What? Okay, what happened to these? Because these used to be exceedingly high grade, very formidable universities.
Yes, and now they're full of whining, opinionated pieces of shit. You know who?
McGill used to be a cutting edge university.
Oh yeah, it's
and when you hear shit like that coming out of a student from McGill, you're like, really?
Yeah, when people think of McGill, they think that's a Harvard caliber university. That is it's actually very similar to one of the best universities in the United States, the University of Michigan, in terms of how it's structured and how it's funded. But it's a top quality university. It's a top notch international university, and now you hear these whining creatures from McGill. Coming, we have to stop using straws. Oh, fuck right off,
Well, and when people say things like that, they don't remember that single-use plastics are more than just straws. They are, I don't know, syringes in hospitals.
Yeah.
Or catheter tubing, or IV lines.
Or so much stuff in an industry that you can't even begin to imagine the amount of industrial use that stuff is. Everybody thinks that, well, it's consumers are going to make this big difference. Making and disposing of plastics is not what the problem is. Now, I do think that there's a fertile area that probably should be economically driven to find out ways to, there's probably a fortune waiting for the person who finds a broad-based way to recycle all kinds of plastic. That's a $1 trillion waiting to happen. And there's opportunities like that, but we should encourage companies to be doing research like that instead of telling people that they've got to stop using straws. Look, for one thing, people are not that big compared to the environment. The environment pretty much shrugs off most of what we do. The only way we've really truly been able to see a visible alteration of climate is through nuclear weapons discharge.
Yeah,
that's absolutely true. Maybe to an extent, you've had some local things with pollution, and certainly we could have some global effects, dirtying up the water or the air that way. But in terms of heating up the earth, man, there's a lot. There's just too much that we don't know. And these guys coming out and they're basically being Chicken Little, because there's something that happens. Let me just take a little social psychology turn right here. There's something that happens to scientists. It happens especially to MDs, but it also happens to scientists, that about the time they're 16 or 17, people notice that they're very good at math, or they're very good at science, but usually they notice they're good at math. And they start being treated differently. They start being coddled, just sent into gifted programs and stuff like that. I know what I'm talking about here. And you get told that you're this great thing. And what happens is you don't get subjected to a lot of the maturing processes that are happening to other people who are struggling out in the day-to-day world, that kind of grow you up and make you into a more mature voice. And so you get these whiny uh, uh, demagogic types like AOC, who is not gifted at all, or these scientists who are gifted at something and basically have not been subjected to real life to the point where they've actually grown up and know to take a step back and be a little bit circumspect about what they say and do.
Yeah.
And instead they just blurt out this emotion and it, the world cringes, and unfortunately they have a lot of influence. And so what can happen is societies lurch and do the wrong thing as a result of listening to people who are basically grown-up babies who are good at math. And now we have grown-up politicians who aren't good at math, who are politicians because we don't know how to say no to ourselves. This is a big theme that I kind of want to explore a little bit tonight on my show at 10:30 Central Time.
Yes, which I'm pretty sure I will be there.
And I'm hoping you will be there, but I also understand you're feeling under the weather, and it's most important that you get well and get to feeling well. But I do hope you'll be there. And that is, we are so self-indulgent. And we are so self-indulgent at an early age that many people don't have those leavening experiences that make a mature, balanced, and sensible, and they literally don't develop common sense. And people without common sense do stupid things. That's almost definitional.
Yeah, you need the hard knocks to figure things out.
To learn stuff, to learn that you're not all that in a bag of chips.
Yeah.
That other people have good ideas, that you should listen to people who think differently from you because you might learn something. Do you think AOC has ever seriously listened to anyone who thought differently from her?
Oh, God, no.
She's done any seriously unbiased research ever in her life on anything? No.
AOC is the chick in the high school group project who you give an idea and she goes, yeah, that's nice. And then just
that is really funny.
I've had so many freaking
excellent.
I hated group projects for that.
No, I bet.
Because I went to a school full of the school I went to for most of my high school was a high school which there were some kids that lived in lower income housing like I did.
Yeah.
But it was mostly kids with 2-parent households who both parents made at the least like $80K a year, right? And their parents could afford maids to come in.
Yeah.
And they're, when they got tired of their cars, they traded in and got new cars. And so when I had to do group work and stuff, I would come up with ideas and, my ideas were always a little bit more dark. If it was a book project or something.
Yes.
Or a book report, I would be like, hey, let's do something in depth like this and abstract. And they'd be like, oh, yeah, no, that's too hard.
Oh, jeez. Yep. I know what you're talking about. I'm sorry. I just read something from Pirate Pete that I'd like to read out. He says, I like how they're always telling the Western world to improve their recycling when the biggest climate offenders are China and India, but that would mean criticizing brown people.
Yep.
Yeah. I actually don't. I don't necessarily think it's a racial thing as much as what they really want to do is control how people in this country live. It's about political control of people here, and they're using climate as a lever to do that. And so, yes, we have to lean on China and India. They'll say, but we also need to stop all airline travel in the United States. Only in emergencies. And if we could cut down our airline travel by 90%, that'd be great. So that only politicians could travel by air and billionaires. And if we do that, we'll have essentially no effect at all on the climate. And you can do a lot of things that have absolutely no effect, but effectively control how people behave, and that's what gives these people satisfaction. Unfortunately, all right. True. Prostate says generations have been obsessed with nostalgia, and each generation reverts more and more. My group were obsessed with early adolescent. Today it's infantile. Yeah, I'm not sure that it's reversionary that way as opposed to it's more my theory that I said before, where I don't think people are having those common sense experience that grow you up, that make you into an adult. One of the things that I enjoy most about the people with whom I'm friends with, like you and Prospero and Irate, are you guys are adults. You're grown-ups. Yeah. One of my friends is here in chat, Maddie. She's an adult. I enjoy talking with her because she has had, she has a degree from the University of Hard Knocks. All of us do. All of us have had those hard experiences where we had to suck it up and sometimes do more with less, sometimes have to make sacrifices, sometimes be faced with tragedy. And it makes you into a more well-rounded, more sensible, more flexible, and less brittle person.
Well, I used to laugh. Like in my last year of high school, I was living on my own, right, with Pincalo.
Yes.
And I used to walk around the hallway and
that sounds a little bit strange, living on my own with Pincalo.
Well, Pincalo and I had our own place. And
gotcha.
And so I would be walking down the hall and I'd be here, oh, my stupid mom says I can't stay out past 6 because I got to go home and help take care of my sister. And I'm like, wow, that sucks.
Yeah.
I have to sign out early because I have to be there for the internet guy to come hook up my stuff or else I have no internet.
Yeah.
Like, just where you have to go be a sibling? Oh, that sucks.
Yeah.
It's like
my mom makes me take a bath every Wednesday.
Yeah. Exactly. I have to clean up my room.
Yeah, I gotta clean up my room. Exactly.
My mom took away my Xbox. What a bitch.
Yep.
Well, were you talking to her like that? Because you're lucky you still have an Xbox to be returned to you.
Boy, no kidding. No kidding. That's, I don't even know what to say.
Alex and Logan ever talked to Pincalo and I like that. Guess what? Pincalo and I have some new systems.
Exactly.
We played. Nope, they're ours now.
That's funny.
So I found Pincalo sent me a funny story. It's probably a nothing burger because the media hates Trump so much.
Mm-hmm.
But apparently some children were at the White House for Halloween.
Yes. And
were told to build a wall. I'm wondering if they were told to build a wall of candy or something, but they were just told to build a wall, is what the media article is saying here.
Mm-hmm. Because apparently that's build the wall at White House Halloween party. So,
yes.
Huh.
I'm trying to figure out if this was like, let's build a wall of candy or something, or if like he was actually telling them we got to build a wall. Because that would be, it would totally be Trump because he doesn't think. Let's see here.
Here we go. I'm looking at the New Yorker article. It says Trump, the fear-based president.
Oh God.
This is I'm not even going to add to this like I usually do. This is Trump. This is from the New Yorker. Trump, the fear-based president, asked children to, quote, build the wall. Presidents celebrate Halloween. They decorate the White House and hand out candy to goons, skeletons, and tiny superheroes. And in recent years, presidents have thrown Halloween parties for administration staffers and their kids in the Eisenhower Executive Office building, where President Obama was famously caught in Spider-Man's web. Although many adorable photographs have emerged from parties held in the Eisenhower building, where numerous policy offices are located, there hasn't been much detailed reporting on, say, what kinds of activities the children of the members of previous administrations were invited to participate in. But they probably didn't play Build the Wall. As Yahoo News reported over the weekend, at this year's White House Halloween party, children of administration staff members were greeted with a Build the Wall mural on the first floor of the Eisenhower building. Build the Wall was spelled out in block letters that appeared to be cut from construction paper, and the children were instructed to write their names on red paper bricks and add them to the mural. Societies shape their children, and regimes indoctrinate them through play. Good God. That's the actual sentence. According to the Yahoo, I know. I couldn't make this any more satirical. And they don't even know it. According to the Yahoo News report, the wall building activity was, quote, concerning, end quote, to, quote, some attendees, end quote. And at least one guest was, quote, horrified, end quote. So some attendees were concerned. One guest was horrified. No quotes. Nobody's identified. Judging from the pictures, though, dozens of children added their bricks to the mural. Were they concerned? Were they horrified? This is to be expected. The president and his supporters chant, build the wall. The president shuts down the government as a result of his desire to build the wall. The president declares a national emergency because he so badly wants to build a wall. Of course, the children of his staff members will also want to put a brick in the president's wall. God, it's like written by a grade schooler. But one wonders how an administration staffer might have come up with the idea of building the wall as a Halloween activity for children. According to the Yahoo report, the rest of the building was decorated in more familiar ways of the holidays: skeletons, cobwebs, lots of candy. This would facilitate the normal Halloween pastimes of getting scared, scaring others, and consuming sweets. Where does building the wall fit in? The staff at the Eisenhower building was reportedly told to prepare child-friendly displays connected with the party's theme. When I grow up, I want to be. But do the child guests really aspire to be Pennywise or a skeleton when they grow up? The odd vocational theme was reflected in the Build the Wall attraction, which offered guests the opportunity to join Trump's crew. There was a second display under the slogan with a giant cutout of the president wearing a construction hat alongside a couple of construction outfits and sinister yellow tape that said, "Caution, kids at work." Construction-style signs had Trump rally slogans on them, such as "Jobs ahead." Someone clearly put time and effort into decorating this part of the building. Perhaps, in its usual, apparently clueless way, the administration was being frank. The Trump presidency is, in its way, like Halloween, but the R-rated slasher movie version. I'm not making a word of this up.
This is
a festival of violence, cruelty, and fear. I want to read that last sentence again. The Trump presidency is, in its way, like Halloween, but the R-rated kind, slasher movie version, a festival of violence, cruelty, and fear. Okay.
Okay, then.
All righty, then. So I guess the wall thing in the Eisenhower building for the children of staffers in the Trump administration was violence, cruelty, and fear because potato, right?
Right.
Or just because turnip? Because I get them mixed up.
What
They're
about
both starches.
potato?
Yeah, exactly. It's all starches.
Grilling Pirate Pete says, "How dare the White House indoctrinate children? That's the school's job."
Nice, Pete. Lovely.
I like that.
Oh my
I enjoy that.
Oh,
my God, that's
Masha Gessen, a staff writer at the New Yorker, is the author of 10 books, including most recently "The Future is History: How Trump Totalitarianism Reclaimed." Oh, Jesus, really? Which won the National Book Award in 2017. So this is written by just a massive, somebody with a massive hate boner for Trump and all things Republican.
what a crazy person.
I know.
Or to take a quote from Monty Python and the Holy Grail, what a strange person.
Here's another sentence from this later on. I didn't read a lot of this article. The Trump's presidency appeal is in how it scares others by staging military parades with flyovers, by dropping the mother of all bombs, but most of all, by building the wall, staging deportation raids, and separating families in order to frighten people away from the country. The wall is a hideous jack-o'-lantern, rotten and glowing on our doorstep, intended to make imaginary evil spirits even more scared of us than we are of them.
Yeah.
My God, that's the media.
So you want to hear something else funny?
Yeah.
So Pincalo sent this to both of us. If Safari will comply with what I'm trying to do here. Apparently they have rainbow crosswalks to celebrate the transgender.
Rainbow crosswalks? So you have to be trans to use that?
I guess.
Wow.
Let's see
why did
here.
the transsexual cross the road? Is this the I'm confused. Let's see. Okay, he sent a link. Let's see.
Yeah, multicolored
transgender sport. Okay.
Yeah.
Let's see what we got here. A town in the Netherlands is taking inclusivity to the streets by debuting a multicolored pedestrian crossing that pays tribute to transgender people. The crosswalk debuted on November 2nd during the Winter Pride Walk in Almere, a town located in the Flevoland province of the Netherlands. According to a post on the Facebook group Gemeente Almere, the road crossing is meant to underline once more that the members of the rainbow community in our city should be able to be themselves in all aspects of life and should be able to cross the road, I guess. According to the Daily Mail, pink represents females, blue for males, and white for individuals who don't align to a specific gender. Besides, it is a rainbow zebra road crossing that's dedicated to the LGBTQP community. So they are including pedos. Local politician Jersey, unpronounceable name because it's Dutch, said everyone is free to be who they want to be. In Almere, the notion is reinforced by the zebra crossings. The new multi-hued crossing was met with mixed emotions online. Some praised it while others criticized it. This is also really urgently needed in Almere, wrote one person. I think it's a cool thing, said one pedophile. Some think the public's dollars could have been better spent elsewhere.
Yeah.
Like anything. Go spend the tax money meaningfully. Elderly people are on a waiting list to get into a nursing home, one criticized. It's too expensive to use community money like this, wrote another. Explain this to the people who have to go to a food bank. Others didn't like the message behind it. It's a joke. I thought transgender people wanted to be treated like everyone else. In this case, I want a new zebra crossing for heterosexual, another one added.
Did it really say LGBTQP, says irate? Yes, I think it did.
It might have. I read it really quickly. It might not have had the P in it. Not absolutely sure. But
gays can be so irritating, says Eddie.
Yeah, they.
Well, you would know, sir.
Pedophiles are people too. No, they're not.
Churchy McBiscuit says it looks like a unicorn vomited on the ground. It won't age well either.
Yeah, that's the truth. A unicorn with an infection.
Yeah.
Jeez. In our city,
Oh,
everyone can be themselves and can fall in love with whoever they fall in love with, said municipal spokesperson Paul, unpronounceable name. With a crossing like this in front of a hospital, you give out an important signal as a municipality. Everyone can be themselves. Okay, or you could just let everyone be themselves, right? Not shout about it. You just let them be themselves. You don't have to do anything.
But that would make sense.
Yeah. It's that old common sense.
Stop trying to make sense, damn you.
Yeah, common common sense is oppressive. So while it's the first in Europe, these crossings have also appeared. Oh, you're going to love this. While it's the first in Europe, these crossings have also appeared in other parts of the world, including Calgary, Alberta, Washington, D.C., New York City, New York, and Chicago, Illinois.
They're in London, Ontario as well. It's a city.
I love that.
A city a few hours west of us, about an hour or 2 hours west of us, has them.
That's one thing I noticed, just a different subject here. Ontario is really big.
It is big.
It's
Why is there this video that won't go away? God damn it.
Yeah, so it's like Spice Girls videos.
Spice Girls videos?
Yeah.
Where?
They won't go away. They should go away, but they won't.
Here it is. Here's the pop-up. So Ontario is huge. It's when my friend moved from Ontario when she was a teenager out to Grand Prairie, Alberta, which is a tiny town in the middle of Alberta. It's butt-fuck nowhere, basically. And it took her and her mother, I think it was 4 days to drive from where they lived in Ontario up to Grand Prairie. And 3 of those days we're getting through Ontario.
Really?
Yeah.
I can see that. Ontario has a weird shape to it.
It does.
It's shaped like a U with a fat side to it.
Yeah, Ontario is very strangely shaped. Like, especially when you see Alberta, Saskatchewan, and Manitoba all look basically like rectangles.
Right, exactly. Like a child just drew blocks.
Yeah.
This part's going to be Saskatchewan. Here's Alberta. Here's Manitoba, and the rest is British Columbia. There, we're done. We're done here.
Yep.
And then Ontario is this weird shape with this funny little, T-shaped tail on it, it's just like we did that to piss off Quebec.
Yeah.
We just did that to piss off Quebec because that's what we do.
Pretty much.
And Montreal is right there. I mean, Montreal really ought to be in Ottawa. But anyway, that's near here.
I like Montreal. There are parts of Quebec that are fun to be in.
Montreal used to be nice. It's so liberal now.
Yeah.
It's so irritatingly liberal. Vancouver's the same way. I used to like Vancouver a lot. And now it's, it's insufferable. But anyway, be that as it may.
Costin says part of Ontario is south of part of Michigan. Yep. Yeah,
you actually have to drive south on the bridge there to get into Detroit. You drive, from Detroit into Canada. You drive south. That's a very weird feeling. I've done it many times when I lived in Ann Arbor.
And didn't Sora tell us about a point where she has to go into like Washington but it's
way
part
up,
of Canada.
way on the West Coast. If you call up Google Earth and you look at the very western border, okay, of and the northwestern border of the United States, you'll see that the 37th parallel, I think it's the 37th parallel, 47th parallel, I can't remember, uh, uh, cuts across this little thimble shaped thing of Canada, just a little tip of Canada. And it's like big enough for a couple of neighborhoods. I mean, it's like big enough for 2 suburban neighborhoods, and that's it. And that's in the United States. And all along there, there are warnings. Hey, if you cross over here, I mean, they don't have customs uh, 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 places, but I mean, you literally have uh, neighbors who walk over to borrow a cup of sugar. They're walking to a different country.
That's funny.
And it's Point Roberts is what it's called.
Point Roberts, that's it.
And that's the it's one of those cool geographic things where in order to get to it, in order to get from one part of the it's considered continental United States.
Mm-hmm.
And in order to get from one part of that part of the continental United States to that part to Point Roberts, you have to go through Canada or you have to go across water. So it's like an island, but it's actually the tip of an isthmus or of a peninsula, not an isthmus, a peninsula. It's the tip of a peninsula. And does that peninsula have a name?
I don't know.
We call it the Point Roberts Peninsula. Although it's also called Sawasan. Sawasan Mills. Sawasan. And Sawasan starts with a T. It's Tsawwassen. What an insane Scrabble word that is.
Yeah, no kidding. I wonder how many points that would be worth.
God, with
wait, you can't use. Can you not use proper nouns in Scrabble?
It depends how you've modified the game.
So
some people say anything on a map, and that gets kind of fun. Anything on Google Earth.
Did you hear about the president of Mexico's hugs, not bullets message?
The president of Mexico, hugs, not bullets?
Yeah.
What? So this is President
Gunfox sent me this one.
Obrador is his name. Is that?
I believe so.
Oh, here, I just found it. Yeah, Mexico's president stood defiant Wednesday amid mounting criticism of his government's policy of using hugs, not bullets, when fighting drug cartels after 9 Americans, including 6 children, were gunned down by sicarios on Monday. President Andre Manuel Lopez Huggy Boy Obrador brushed off criticisms against his government's position and reiterated Wednesday during his daily media hug that violence was not the answer or appropriate response to the growing deaths at the hands of cartel. It was lamentable, painful because children died. But do we want to resolve the problem the same way as previous administrations by declaring war? That, in the case of our country, showed that it does not work. That was failure. It caused more violence. We are carrying out a different policy because the policy that was applied during 36 years was a resounding failure, and it caused a lot of damage, a lot of sadness, a lot of deaths, a lot of losses for Mexicans. We will not continue with the same, and we will show that our proposal works. We will hug the drug dealers and hug the cartels back until they hug us.
What?
The comments came 2 days after 9 Americans, 3 women, and 6 children were gunned down by cartel members in an ambush in the northern states of Sonora. Officials have said that they believe the gunmen may have mistaken the group's large SUVs for those of a rival gang amid a vicious turf war. 8 young children, including an 8-month-old baby, survived the attack by hiding in the brush and even though they were wounded, some walked miles to get help. All the victims are believed to be members of the extended LeBaron family who live in a religious community in Lemoore. It's a Mormon community. It's one of these offshoot things from
Did
the
you
Mormons.
see the New York Times article basically saying it was their fault for getting slaughtered because they were white freaking religious?
Yeah, well, they're white religious people. They deserve to die.
They're white colonizers in Mexico, so
Right,
therefore
exactly.
they deserve to be
There was evidence
slaughtered.
that some of them had eaten corn tortillas, which is clearly
Cultural
appropriation. Yeah, that they need to die. Those are the kinds of white people who need to die. They don't get hugs; they get bullets. That's
I'm
Alexandria
sorry.
Ocasio-Cortez right there.
If somebody, like, seriously, what kind of pussy do you have to be when children are murdered in your country and you want to hug the murderers?
Well, the brazen daytime attack on Monday reignited questions regarding whether Lopez Obrador's hugs, not bullets, that's for real, security policy of not engaging deadly drug cartels with violence was actually working. Hug it out, Lopez Obrador.
That's what Escobar needed. Was a big hug.
I'm stunned. All right. Meanwhile, a popular syndicated editorial said that the daylight attack between Chihuahua and Sonora confirms that the government's security strategy requires an urgent revision to correct the errors or to adopt a new direction. No shit. Almost nothing has changed in respect to what has happened in the last decades in the country. Lots of unpronounceable Mexican places. All the places are references to the bloody incidents registered this year. Conciliatory messages and calls to criminals do not seem to be enough because, conciliatory messages and calls to criminals do not seem to be enough because of the events. It should be noted that they do not seem to fear the force of the state. Exploring other options sounds obligatory. The president used the catchy phrase hugs not bullets or abrazos not balazos in Spanish in his promise to clear out violent drug cartels, not by waging war, but instead changing communities by tackling what he said is the root of the problem, extreme poverty. I don't even know what to say.
I'm speechless.
Just how can somebody who is the head of state of a big ass country like Mexico be that stupid?
Krill Empire Pete's on fire today. He goes, when did Marianne Williamson become president of Mexico?
Yeah, he's not wrong. He's not wrong. That God damn. He's
This is crazy.
That's a weird thing. That's just a weird thing. I don't even know what to say. So, Uzi is here. Hi, Uzi.
I found something interesting that's not, infuriating.
We need that. I think we need that badly right now.
So, and it'll kind of interest you because it's an engineering type of thing. Yeah. So apparently Ethiopia is building a giant dam.
A giant dam what?
For the Nile.
Oh, a giant dam.
Yeah, like an actual dam.
Okay.
So if Safari will, there we go. So this is like a little fact sheet about it's about basically the giant dam that they're building. So it's fact box. Key facts about Ethiopia's giant Nile dam. So this is pretty interesting.
Yeah,
Gunfox sent us this one.
I'm reading that Ethiopia is building a giant dam on the Blue Nile close to its border with Sudan. Ethiopia says the hydropower project is crucial to its economic development. Egypt is worried the dam will affect flow of the Nile, its main source of fresh water. The $4 billion Grand Ethiopian Renaissance Dam, GERD, was announced in early 2011 as Egypt was in political upheaval following a popular uprising that toppled former President Hosni Mubarak. The dam is the centerpiece of Ethiopia's bid to become Africa's biggest power exporter with a projected capacity of more than 6,000 megawatts. That's a lot. 6 gigawatts is a lot.
Yeah.
Ethiopia has said that it will start filling the reservoir behind the dam in 2020, though construction has been hit by delays. The first stage of the filling process is expected to take 2 years and bring the water level to the reservoir 595 meters out of the eventual 632 meters. Now, let's just think about this for a minute. When you take 2 years to fill a reservoir, what do you think happens downstream? How do you fill the reservoir? You stop the flow of the water.
Drastic. Yeah, that's.
And so you have all these Egyptians who are dependent upon the Blue Nile, and it's all through Egypt. It's the length of Egypt. All of eastern Egypt gets its water from this. And if they're looking at restricted flow, they'll be looking at water shortages.
Yeah.
Okay. And so this first part is kind of a one-time thing. After that, it actually will flow at roughly the same level that it's always flowed. But this is a 2-year hit they're going to take, because if you think about what's going on, they've got a bunch of turbines they want to run the rushing water through. In order to get the pressure behind the turbines, they have to build up a big reservoir so that there'll be enough hydrological pressure to run the turbines fast enough. Okay, that's what makes turbines go fast, and the windings generate electricity, and you pipe the electricity out. So, but in order to do that, you have to seriously restrict the flow of it. I mean, I'm sure they've worked out a way to let some of the flow go forward, but Egypt is probably not happy about what that number is.
Yeah.
Egypt currently bases its share of the river's waters on a 1959 deal that gave it 55. Yeah, here we're going to get into some pretty spacey numbers. So it gave it 55.5 billion cubic meters of water annually, and Sudan got 18.5 billion cubic meters, which, if you think about population, that's probably pretty generous to Sudan, honestly.
Yeah.
Other countries were given allocations at that time. Ethiopia was not party to the agreement and does not recognize it. So Ethiopia is saying, "Ha, we're in the position, to take what we want. So fuck off." And Egypt, which is saying, "Hey, we've got a rapidly growing population nearing 100 million, and we get 90% of our fresh water from the Blue Nile. So not fuck off,
not ha.
Yeah, not ha. We can do this the fun way, or we can do this the bloody way. How do you want to hang? How do you want to hang Ethiopia? Water will flow just fine through a bombed out dam. Just saying. So even without taking the dam into account, the largely desert country is short on water. It imports about half its food products and recycles 25 billion cubic meters of water annually. That's pretty impressive, actually. Egypt accuses Ethiopia of not factoring in the risk of drought conditions, such as those that affected the Nile basin in the late 70s and early 1980s. Yes, that is a huge problem. While acknowledging such scenarios unlikely, Egypt said that it could lose more than 1 million jobs and $1.8 billion in economic production annually. It therefore wants the first 2-year stage of the filling process to be extendable so they can fill it slower so they'll get more water. And for Ethiopia to guarantee it 40 billion cubic meters per year after the first stage is completed. Ethiopia says, we've got 100 million people. Egypt is trying to maintain a colonial era grip over the Nile's water. They use the C word, colonial.
Yeah. Yeah.
Addis Ababa says, that's the capital of Ethiopia, says Cairo is trying to hold the project hostage by imposing rules over the filling and operations of the dam. It says it is taking the interest of Egypt and Sudan, the other downstream nation, like they can't, Sudan, into account, and that Egypt's requirement of a guaranteed 40 billion cubic meters is unrealistic. Well, that's bullshit.
How is it unrealistic?
It's not unrealistic. That's they're being the dog in the manger. They want to have extra security at Egypt's expense. Egypt wants more security for potential drought conditions, and that's actually pretty reasonable.
Yeah.
But here's what I really think. If you look at the game within the game within the game, what I think they want to do is Ethiopia wants to get it to a place where they say to Egypt, "Hey, you got a problem, and I got a problem. I need money. You need water. Sounds like we can solve this that way." And and Egypt doesn't want to start paying for what it has always gotten for free.
Yeah.
That's almost guarantee you that's what's going on here. Just because the economics of it just suggest that, where there's money to be made. Ethiopia has repeatedly rejected Egypt's suggestion of a fourth party mediator, saying Cairo is trying to sidestep three-way discussions. Well, they don't want a fourth party mediator because they're going to see this the way that you and I see this, that Egypt's being rational and Ethiopia's being a dog in a manger.
Yeah.
Both sides have accused each other of delaying negotiations, which resumed in Cairo and Khartoum in September and October before stalling again after Egyptian President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi met with Ethiopian Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed on the sidelines of a summit in Russia in October. The two sides agreed to restart technical talks. Egypt has enthusiastically accepted an invitation from the U.S. to separate talks in Washington, and maybe that can help them work this out. But basically, Ethiopia needs to get told, you don't get to keep, we all live in this planet together.
Yeah.
You don't get to hoard the water. So fuck right off.
Yeah.
You've got to let everybody, drink from the water. And ultimately Egypt, which is so much massively more powerful than Ethiopia, it's not even worth talking about, in terms of military power.
Yeah.
If they want water to flow through that dam, there's a very easy solution,
Yes, there is. And it's not like Egypt would have much compunction about doing it.
They would punch that ticket in a second.
They would. They'd be like, "Oh, we need water." Boom.
Yeah, our citizens are starving. No problem. We'll have it water starts flowing at 8:30 tonight.
Yeah. Everybody take shelter half an hour beforehand.
It's exactly. There's going to be a lot of water suddenly. So anyway, that's kind of a strange and fun little thing. I think water rights are fascinating. I studied water rights in school.
Oh.
And when I first started it, my opinion was, hey, if you own the headwaters of the water, you own all the water. You can do anything you want with the water. You can keep all the water if that's what you want, or you can sell the water. You can sell the water to whoever you want. But in point of fact, that's not the way the law, at least in the United States, has developed. And most water law in the world is modeled on both the British and American water law precedents. And it's extremely, extremely complex. I mean, this is basically the simplest scenario for water distribution. What happens when you have different tributaries and you have different competing sources of water, and you have and sets of regulations that cover this part, but don't cover that part, or cover this company and not that company.
Right.
It's just a massive legal festival. It can become hugely complicated and very, very thorny to work out. This is fairly straightforward, with Ethiopia essentially saying, hey, we've got the source of the water and we want to control everything and we want extra security. And they probably want some tribute money from Egypt. And Egypt is saying, fuck off, that's not supported by international law. And they're not saying it, but everybody knows they can fix that.
Yes.
Kind of an interesting situation. That's a cool story. Thank you very much. What is chat saying? We're getting to the end of the stream here. We should read a little bit of chat and see what's going on. Skep says, did you ever see the Egyptian modified T-34s? He's talking about tanks. No, I did not. That's a Russian tank that was sold to Egypt. I guess that they modified. But all right, also says, to finish the dam, the prince has $500,000 that he needs to set. $500,000 that he needs to set aside for later. I don't really understand that.
That reminded me of the Simpsons episode where Sideshow Bob gets hired by his brother Cecil to build the Springfield Dam.
Yes.
And it's all hollow inside because Cecil was going to con the town out of all the money for the concrete.
Yes. Interesting. That's
Nigerian scam, says.
Yeah, Nigerian. Yeah, that's right. Uzi says, I believe Trump was really pissed because women and kids were killed. How brave for the cartels to do that in their fucking war. Yeah, she's not wrong. I agree. That's disgusting. And she commented about how that story made her angry. It made me angry too. And people saying, well, they're Mormons, they're white Christians. Fuck them. They should die. I'm glad they died. Fuck off. Eat shit and die, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
That just makes me angry.
I don't get that.
Yeah, I don't get that either. How can people crow when, those families just ripped apart? It is heartbreaking. They thought they were safer than what they were, I guess. I don't know. For my part, I don't know what would possess you to go and set up, living down there. But I don't know why they were down there, why they chose Mexico. But that's not my place. They should be safe. They have a right to be safe. I think that's
when my mother and my sister go abroad for their tournaments for Kung Fu, they go to Central America quite often. And, my mother always poo-poos us because we're like, be careful, right? Yep. And she's, we leave the resort, blah, blah, blah. So? Doesn't matter.
I've got a bulletin. I've got a bulletin.
You've got a bulletin?
They're inducing me today. She will be here tomorrow. I'll keep you updated. Come over to the hospital.
Oh,
that's my son-in-law.
Do you need a backup keeper for tonight then?
No, not at all.
No?
I will come back and do that. If I do, you or Prospero might be available, possibly. That would be the only reason that would happen is something gone wrong.
Yeah.
And if it's a normal thing, I'm sorry. I have seen, everybody knows what a father and grandfather I am, right? I've seen a lot of babies come into the world.
Yeah.
I'm not blasé about it, but I don't, I can actually come home from the hospital, get some sleep, and then go back. And, Andrea can stay there and be in labor without me. So
yeah,
that's where I'm.
Oh, that's awesome. I hope.
So another grandkid, little Michelle, is going to be here tomorrow, today or tomorrow. So here we go.
And this is her first one, right?
Yeah, this is her very first. So here we go. I guess her blood pressure was higher when she went to the doctor this morning than it was when she got up. So thank you, Addie. And
That's so awesome.
I appreciate that. Thank you so much, and thank you, Maddie. I'll talk to you about that later. I'm completely distracted right now.
You know what?
I'm useless as a host. I'm sorry.
Well, hey, you know what? I'm happy for, like, I love when Satsu had his baby. I was all like, when Squishy had Squeetus, I was like, oh, babies.
Yep. It's big fun.
Well, and it makes me like, I was so upset because 2 or 3 weeks before before Squishy had the baby, I sold both of my baby carriers.
Oh my gosh.
And I really wanted to see if I could get Satsu to like even send me like a PO box or something so I could send them one of mine, because they saved my life.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I loved my baby carriers. They were the best thing for bonding, for getting anything in the house done.
Don't leave home without them. Absolutely.
I loved it. But you know what? Go be grandpa, and we'll talk to you tonight.
I'm going to do this. I'm actually going to leave the stream right now, if that's okay.
No worries.
I love all you guys, and I will look to my Twitter. I will tweet out information, and of course my friends. I'll be DMing you either on Discord or Twitter. So,
and I'll see you tonight.
Absolutely, I will see you tonight, and come on back, everybody. I may have news. So,
all right.
And if I have news, I'll have pictures. All right, bye, everybody.
Bye, Skep. And thank you guys for watching. That brings us to the end of the stream. I hope you guys had a good time watching. We had a good time putting it on for you. And please come back to the Minions of the Zoo channel tonight at 11:30 Eastern, 10:30 Central, to come find out if Skep's a grandpa. I hope everyone has a great rest of their Wednesday, and I will see you back here tomorrow at noon. Still looking for a guest for Friday, but I'm not giving up on that. And I hope to see you guys back tomorrow. Have an awesome day, guys.